All right, today I want to share a few things. Just a reminder that we also have the uh, group energy clearing. Topic is emotional abuse ends with me. So I'll be talking a little bit about that because the abuse situation is really, really vitally important. Even though you may not be abusive, but if you've got, well, not you, everyone's got the energy within. Everyone's got past incarnational experiences where abuse has happened. And then once you've been abused, then you become an abuser as well. So today, the group clearing is um, generational abuse ends with me. But right now, quantum consciousness, this is where we want to get into where does abuse begin? If you understand where it begins, then you'll understand that no matter what, it's in you. Okay. So if you look at your soul, just your soul, you, me, all of us, okay? The soul, we're multifaceted. There's many aspects of our soul, okay? And we have the incarnating aspect of our soul. The incarnating aspect of our soul comes in physical body, obviously, okay? And what happens is that part of us is always carrying forth the energies from our past experiences, our past lives, including this lifetime. How things get anchored in and carried over so that we have to repeat the lessons over and over again is through the emotion. Okay, the emotion is what anchors in your traumas. Okay, so what happens, let's just back up. Let's go back to someone's life stream, yours. Okay, let's go back maybe 10 generations back. 10 generations. Okay, that goes quite a ways back. And let's just say that back then, there's a grandfather, a father, a man, father of the family. Okay, so that man has a lot of things happening where he's got a lot of pressure on him and concern and worry about taking care of his own families. So what happens is sometimes he loses his temper, sometimes he gets frustrated. So then he becomes abusive. Okay, so the abuse that happens to those children, they have an emotional reaction to abuse. Okay, so daddy hurts them, daddy beats them, daddy shames them and humiliates them. You know, the different things that families do, fathers do, mothers do. And then the emotion that child experiences, if they don't go through the emotion, then that energy gets lodged in the body. So the more intense an emotion is, the more powerfully it attaches to the soul, and then it moves forward like a soul imprint into your future incarnations. And here's another thing. The DNA, your DNA actually changes with your emotions. So if you have emotional abuse happening, you're going to have trauma. You might have PTSD, but that energy gets lodged. And again, that is carried over. Okay. So when you have abuse and a child has a really intense emotional experience, like, you know, feeling like unloved or feeling hated, that happens. Okay. So when we do that, the DNA literally changes. Okay. And when we do our emotional healing work, our DNA changes. But here's the thing. So if the DNA gets anchored in to children that were abused, and they get all this emotional energy, emotional trauma, then they have children. Now, they could also become abusive because when we've been abused, there's always going to be anger within. You may not realize it, you may not know it, but there's going to be anger. Okay, when someone hurts us, it's that the reptilian brain. It's the defense mechanism. Okay, it's a protection. So we're going to fight to save ourselves, protect ourselves. So anger is something that is an energy frequency, emotional energy frequency that we have. Okay, so then you have this, wait, 10 generations back. Okay, now the children have been abused. Now they all have children. Some of them abuse their children, some of them don't. And the energy is still in the DNA because they had emotional trauma that they didn't unravel and clear and heal. So that energy never goes away. Think about that. So all these generations that this abuse happened way back, it just stays in the DNA, and it continues to affect us, affect our ancestors, okay? The emotional frequency that actually changes the DNA, it's got like a trauma. So again, we come in, and there's always going to be times when we feel victimized, we feel overly punished, wrongfully punished, along with all the different experiences of feeling like we've been, persecuted. But basically what it comes down to is it's all about the emotion. Okay, so the emotion gets anchored in, you suppress emotions, they get anchored in, and then over time, as we keep burying stuff and we keep incarnating, all that energy builds up, and then in time we become, abusive. We can become abusive. Now, I'm not saying everyone becomes abusive. What I'm saying, though, is the abuse energy is in the DNA. It's in everyone, because everyone's had traumas. Everyone's had extremely intense experience, life, death, survival experiences, okay? So everyone's got all this emotion, but it's that emotional energy that's anchored in that builds up, in our lives. It's like if you have enough abuse, enough wounding, enough, being shamed and humiliated, your body goes into overwhelm. Okay. And then oftentimes when people go into overwhelm, they get short-tempered. Okay. Think about people coming home from work, the kids are pulling on them, wanting attention, whatever, which is natural, normal. But when you've had a full day and you're stressed out and you have nothing left to give, and you're going to get angry, or you might get a little pissy, so to speak. But some people literally become abusive. It's volatile, and it happens all the time. When we had the COVID thing, there's a lot more abuse happening because people were in confined space together. That wasn't their normal experience. Tempers flared, and there was a lot more abuse, bad. So the generational abuse, the topic is generational abuse ends with me, is today's topic for the group clearing. And what I will be doing is coming into your subconscious and unraveling emotional angst. But what's really important is I'm going to be working with your DNA, and I'm going to start releasing the energy frequencies in the DNA that are causing that energy to be abusive. So again, remember, the emotion is what anchors things in. It gets anchored into the DNA. So when we start releasing that from the DNA, then the energy shifts and changes. So not only will I be working with the DNA, but I will be going into the subconscious, releasing, other energies, other people's energies. I have found that occasionally the energy of an abuser from way, way back can still be in someone's body, or, because it's in the soul imprint, and it comes with them into the body. So they're still holding on to that energy from 10 generations ago, that person's emotional energy. Okay. So I'll be releasing emotional energy, the traumas, the misperceptions, and the beliefs when we get, abused. And then also the angers and frustrations, and the whatever's contributing to overwhelm that causes us to really become abusive, to be short-tempered, angry, using, volatile words, or being volatile. So, there's always reasons why people are behaving the way they are. Okay. But if we think about where abuse begins, where does abuse begin? It didn't begin in this lifetime. So even if you've got, let's just say that your father or mother was very abusive, it didn't begin here for them. Okay. That something began way back in the life stream. So even for you, if you're an abusive person, if you have short tempers, short fuses, you need anger management, which isn't going to really make a difference. You'll be able to control things. But what we really want is we want to shift and change so that we're no longer holding anger. Okay, so we're no longer holding on to, all this intense energy that causes us to, hurt others. When we've been abused, one of the things is we want to attack, hurt back. Think about it. Someone hurts you or steps on your toe, hits you or whatever. Sometimes people just want to hit back. Okay, so that retaliation happens. But basically, when you understand where the abuse began, it didn't start here. Nothing began here. No matter what you're experiencing, it began back in your life stream, not here. Okay. So again, today's group clearing, which will be the generational abuse ends with me. I feel like this is going to be like an amazing, awesome clearing that we all need. I'm not saying that, we're all abusive, but again, here's the thing. Oftentimes people that were abused, they're either going to become abusers or they're going to be the opposite, and they'll be the broken, where you have no power, where you're disempowered, where people walk all over you. You're trying to be kind and loving. But again, that anger, that rage is buried. Okay. All it means is that if you're not demonstrating, I don't get angry, I'm never mad, I never have these reactions, but it's in there. It's still in your soul imprint. Okay. And something will happen and occur either in this lifetime or another where that's going to get triggered and that rage and anger is going to come out. Because if it's not cleared out and released, it's buried in the subconscious and anything can activate it. You just don't know what that is. I mean, think about this. How many times have we heard about people that, were like gentle, kind people and they murder their spouse? Okay. Terribly, terrible murder, cut them up, whatever. So something breaks. Okay. How about people that all of a sudden I just saw red or I saw black and I don't even know what happened. I have no clue. I don't remember. Okay. They blacked out, but they were enraged. See? So it's inside of everyone. Okay. Everyone has this kind of energy. Everyone has rage. Here's the thing too about generational abuse. So if you're attending the group clearing today, here's the thing. If you have children, the energy is already in them. Okay. So if you want them to get the benefit, then you're going to have to call them in. Okay. Call them in and then they get the benefit. Then that changes their DNA. And if they've already had children, then you got to call in the grandchildren. Basically what I'm saying is, I'm not going to be clearing anybody and everybody in your family unless you call in their soul frequency. Okay. When you call them in, then they get the benefit of the clearing. So generational abuse began way back in the life stream, and you as a soul evolving will have that angry energy where you can become abusive and hurtful and cause harm to others. Okay. And again, it's in your DNA. It gets into the DNA. Where does abuse begin? Yeah. So again, it's coming from the past. Now, another thing that happens is with the carryover. Okay. So we get abused. Let's just go back to the 10 generations ago. And the father, I can see it. The father was abusive. Okay. The father of that family. And as I'm watching and tracking, like I'm seeing one in particular, looks like it was a boy. The boy got really severely abused, and this guy actually became an extremely angry, abusive person. Okay, and then of course he was abusive to his children, and then that just kept on going, passing down through all the generations, and then his children's children, whatever. It just keeps on. It's just like a snowball. It just keeps on going. Okay. And even though some of us never want to be hurtful, have you ever found yourself like, just like, for example, here's a good one. You're driving and someone cuts you off, and you have a reaction, right? If someone flips you off, you have a reaction. Okay. So we all have our moments where we're having reactions and getting angry, and wanting to hurt back, calling people names. Okay, but think about this too. Are you finding fault with people? Like, if let's just say you're out and about in the world, and you're taking a walk with your beloved, and you're looking around and you see people, and maybe someone's doing something that you think is inappropriate or why or weird or whatever. You have a judgment, right? Okay, we judge people that are obese, we judge people that are skinny, we judge people that are different than we are. Okay, so there's all this judging thing too. If you start really tracking back into that energy of fault finding, judging others, there's also going to be some energy of underneath, buried, of just some of that anger, anger and rage, hatred of others, hatred of people, hatred of humanity, thinking people are stupid. Okay. I'm laughing at that one because sometimes people are stupid. I act stupid sometimes, do stupid stuff. But doesn't mean we need, we should be blasted or hurt or, severely damaged because we're stupid or we do something that seemingly is stupid. Okay. So, it's like everyone has it. I think here's my point, what I'm trying to get across is this. You might think, oh, I have no anger. I'm not angry. I never get angry. I'm not abusive. I don't need that one. Okay. My point is this. Yes, you do, because it's inside of everyone. If you're alive, you got anger inside of you because you've had something, situation where you have been abused, where you have been hurt, where you have been traumatized, even tortured. And then too, what's awesome is, how we always want to forgive. Part of being a spiritual being or someone who is more awake, more aware, is we can forgive. We forgive. Okay. But here's the thing about forgiveness. You got to unravel what's inside to forgive. And the cool thing is when you unravel whatever that is that's causing you to hold a grudge against somebody, no matter what that is, true forgiveness, what happens is it just, you naturally forgive. You let go. Your body lets go. Your emotions let go. There's nothing in you that wants to find fault with people, that wants to judge people, that wants to hurt them or punish them or torture them or wants retribution. Okay. It's over. So the clearing, today's clearing, it's going to be really, really, really deep and really profound, really good. So it'll be clearing out, the topic is generational abuse ends with me. Okay. And coming back to, where does abuse begin? Well, it begins way back, like I was describing. Okay. All right. So I just want to see here if we got any comments or questions going on. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hang on. Okay. All right. Hang on. That's a good question. Okay. What? Oh, hang on. Let me do this. Is that right? Okay. There we go. I did it wrong. Okay. Okay. So you keep saying that the soul cannot be damaged, but the imprint carryover lifetimes is in the soul. Isn't that having the soul damaged, wounded? To me, it sounds contradicting. Okay. Let me explain. In your core, and you all can do this, in the core is your light. Okay, your light. This is you, God creator consciousness. You can't damage you. You can't kill you. You have no angst. You have no poor me. There's no victim. Okay, no victim. So right now, take your awareness. Okay, just follow me. Take your awareness. Maybe just take a moment. Close your eyes. Have awareness in your eyes. Take all of your awareness, be right here in your eyes. Now take that same awareness, come down your body, come right into your heart center, your heart chakra. Awareness right in your heart chakra. Now, deep, deep, deep inside, don't be going into the chakra. Just look for your own light. There's a light. You have a light. It's a brilliant, bright light. It could be a little tiny grain of sand, could be a marble size, could be bigger, doesn't matter. Go into your light. You take your awareness and go into your light. And just be there. It's silent. It's quiet. All that's there is the frequency of unconditional love and your light. Okay? This is the you that is eternal. This you is never hurt, never damaged. Can't destroy it, can't kill it, can't traumatize it. It's God consciousness. You are that. Okay? Now, your soul frequency that incarnates everything, we all are that divine light. We all are God creator consciousness embodied in physical form, okay? The energy that we experience, like we identify with the body, we identify and think this is who we are. We are not living our connection to our light. We are living our connection to our false self, our ego, okay? We have become, in our mind, other than that light, okay? So let's say, here we come. We don't have an awareness of our light. We're not resting and living from this place within. We are living from the mind thoughts, okay? So you come into the world, you're in the womb, your mother's got issues around, fear around having a baby. Maybe your mother's got like damaged, like everybody has emotional wounding. You're taking that, you're pulling that energy in and identifying as though it's you. Okay. So what's happening is we are being, traumatized because we don't understand that nothing is personal. It's not about us. Other people's doings are not about us, okay? But we take everything personal. We believe you're hurting me. Why are you hurting me? Why did you cheat on me? Why are you doing this to me? That is not true. That's not why it's happening, okay? But we identify. So then we identify with that ego, like my mother didn't want me. Oh, there must be something wrong with me. We draw all these conclusions. We draw all these, beliefs, conclusions, and programming. We take on other people's programming. We take on their beliefs. We have discarnates. So what's happening is we become the ego, the false self, okay? That energy, it's an emotional frequency. If we stayed conscious and present with who we are, which nobody does, nobody, okay? You would be coming into the world, you'd be connected to that pure light that you are, and anything your mother was experiencing, you wouldn't be absorbing it because it's not you, it's her, okay? Oh, so then you come into the world and you're born, you're birthed, and there's all these traumas, your physical body, your diapers, rashes, or, all the energies that we're experiencing in physicality, we're not remembering. But if we did, we would know, oh, this is the soul's journey to know itself in all ways. Oh, the soul's having this experience to know what it feels like, to have a diaper rash. I'm just giving something that really does happen. And then we take it all personal, okay? So when we enter, we forget who we are. Okay, so we're no longer identifying ourselves with who we really are. We are identifying ourselves with the physical form that feels hurt. If I stab it, beat it, it's going to feel it, and I'm going to think it's me, okay? Because I'm identified with the body. And this is what's happening. We identify with the body. We think we're the body. Even when we leave the body and die, we're still holding on to this, what we look like physically. We still are identifying with this body, okay? So all of the emotional stuff, all the emotions that we have been experiencing that we never cleared and healed, okay, is imprinted in our soul frequency, which is still, our light is still who we are, but it's like attaching energies to that frequency and identifying as though these damaged parts are who we really are. And then we also feel like we've been forsaken or we're victimized, the poor me's. And then we have all these emotional attachments to our suffering. We have perverse pleasure in our suffering. Okay. So it's the emotion. If you weren't having these emotional angst, these emotional reactions, and you were still living in your pure love and light, the truth of who you are, you wouldn't be carrying any of these emotions with you or over. Okay. But that's not what's happening. You are attaching all these emotions to your soul frequency. Just like when we look at people right now, I have to go beyond all your wounding to see your light. Okay. So you got all this energy burying your true light, but that's what we carry with us as it becomes imprinted in our soul frequency, our soul imprint, and we carry all that emotional wounding with us into the next incarnation. Okay. What's really happening is the soul wants to know itself in all ways. Okay. Always. So we have these carryovers and we recreate the same old repeatedly for hundreds of lifetimes because we didn't stay with the emotion and know it fully. Okay. Now here's what happens when we do. All that wounding, identifying with I'm this, I'm that, I'm not loved, I don't matter, I don't belong, I'm not enough, all those beliefs that we all have, as we start unraveling the misperceptions, the beliefs, the conclusions, the emotional angst that we've held on to, those energies begin to lift and our light begins to shine. We start feeling more and more and more of that true frequency that we are, the truth of who we are, which is divine light, God creator consciousness. Okay. So there's a divine plan unfolding. We are all part of that divine plan. And we are all wanting to unravel the wounding so that we can live in that place of, pure unconditional love and light, which is our true nature, which is who we already are. But we are identifying with the ego, therefore, we think it's who we are. And so it's like we're bringing this false self with us as we incarnate, okay? But ultimately, in the very core, you are pure love and light, okay? But it's all the damage, it's all the misperceptions, the woundings. We begin to believe we're something other than that, okay? Yeah. Yes. What if I couldn't find or go to my light with this exercise you just did? Okay, so it doesn't matter. Just keep doing it. Abigail's got it. I mean, Abigail. Yep, Abigail knows. She got it. She can tell you that stuff, okay? Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's what's up, okay? So hopefully that helps you to understand what's really how it's all working, okay? Okay, so that's just an acknowledgement. 12, okay. All right. Okay. All right. So you guys, I need to go. So we got the group clearing coming up in the half an hour. So that begins in a half an hour, and we're changing up how we do things. So when you come in, I won't be doing announcements. I'm just going to be giving information, teachings. Then we'll do the clearing, and then we'll have Q&A at the end. All right, everyone. So I'm not sure. So you guys, my team, tell me, okay? Right. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed my video, please, sorry guys, this is all new for me. Subscribe and what? Wait. Sorry. I don't even know if this is the right place. Sorry. Subscribe and wait to my channel. Sorry. Okay. Hopefully I'll see you out the group clearing. Alrighty.